33 hours, 45 minutes, and 3 seconds. Just a fraction of 1% of my life spent over the last year. I was consumed by it. Every conscious and subconscious moment reminding me of July 30th, 2022 at 10:41 p.m. A literal serpent crawled onto a gravel road off of Checkpoint D, the Elkhorn Trailhead on the Maah Daah Hey Trail in southwestern North Dakota. It was at that moment that I relearned the three most important letters of the alphabet, D, N, F. Did not fit. Those three letters would haunt me for the next 365 days.
Call for a run at Reo Boston, stopping for some nutrition. It's not real. At the end of 25 plus miles. He's doing good. Checkpoint B. Real smelling good. Got Ryan washing his feet, towel on his neck. Life is good. Way to go, Reo. It's mission 2. You go around. Way to go, Reo.
It's hard to explain the why behind running an ultramarathon. A lot of people ask, why are you doing this? And it's equally as hard to understand maybe why the Maah Daah Hey became so important to me and why I became kind of obsessed with it. I think people run for different reasons. They run for fitness, they run for competition, some people even run for fun. But for me, running is like a therapy. In the pain of running, I find peace. Now, I'm not an elite runner or athlete, and I probably never will be. I'm not going to be a guy who's winning a bunch of races or anything like that. I'm not going to be sponsored by a bunch of companies and doing that sort of thing. But I think, once in a while, it's possible for an average guy like myself to do something extraordinary, something unexpected. And that's kind of what this was about. And for me, it kind of became a mission after I DNF'd the first year to come back and prove to the people around me, my students, my coworkers, my friends, and my family, especially my kids, that if you work hard, you're dedicated, you have perseverance, you have will, that anything you decide to do is possible. So after the first DNF, I had to figure out a way that I was going to be able to train my body without getting injured over the next year. And one of the ways I did that is by staying completely motivated, or creating a routine, a dedicated routine of running each week consistently. And I kind of held myself accountable by putting it on social media, and there's obviously some benefits and some pros and some cons to that, but it did allow me to hold myself accountable each week, and also it involved other people in the process, which was kind of cool. DNF sent me into what I like to call runner's purgatory. First, my pride was destroyed. All the effort and sacrifice was for nothing. And then I started to envy those who had finished. I was jealous of their accomplishments. Then I felt the wrath, angry at myself for quitting, for not being able to accomplish my goal. And in those moments, I became the sloth, unable to move, unable to do anything. I found myself becoming greedy for what I set out to do. All I wanted was to achieve it for myself. And before long, I became the glutton. I was ready to consume any mile, any training, anything I could possibly do, any negative thought, comment about how I should be proud of at least you completed 58 miles. I was consuming all of that. And I knew that the only way I was going to be able to get rid of these feelings, to get out of this cycle, was to complete the thing that I had started. But a thought that kept creeping into my mind, especially as the time got closer, was, what if? What if my knee starts to hurt again? What if I can't make it? What if it's 90? What if it's 95 degrees? What if it's 100 degrees? What am I going to do? What's going to happen if I can't finish this race again? Am I going to quit? Or am I going to be stuck in runner's purgatory until I finally accomplish my goal?
Fewer than half of you are going to finish. Thought I'd throw that out there.
We showed up at the CCC campground, and we were ready to start. again.
I got a shirt made for you guys.
What?
So it's DNF.
No DNF.
No DNF.
Dude.
It's got the Maah Daah Hey trail behind it.
The idea was to take it out slow for the first part of the race, kind of conserve myself for the second half to make sure that after the first 50 miles I was going to have enough energy to get through. And we stuck to that pretty decently. The first stretch was like 9.5 miles or so. Went really well. I was able to get hydrated, get the food that I needed to keep moving. But after that first stretch, there's two 15-mile sections in a row, and I think that's one of the hardest parts of the entire race. It's right at the beginning. It's in the warmer part of the day, and it was tough.
Sarah, how you doing?
Take your hat off, Reo.
How's everybody doing?
Let the head
Good. How are you doing?
Feeling better?
No.
Can I talk you into a pancake?
In a minute.
Yeah.
After I finished those 30 miles, I was feeling kind of fatigued already. My legs weren't feeling great. I was feeling pretty lethargic. I had a hard time keeping my energy levels up, and already at that point I was thinking, man, it'd be really nice if I had pacers. But the pacers weren't able to help me until after the first 50. I knew I needed something. Something had to happen because I was already starting to get those dark thoughts creeping in about being able to finish, and was I going to be able to make it further than I did last year and continue on to finish the race. So I knew I needed something.
Ready?
There's one in my
Got salt in your eyes? Well, that's what I was like, I'll take my shirt off.
Try to help a little bit so you at least open your eyes.
So as I left checkpoint C, I could see in the distance, I knew I had a river crossing and a creek crossing that I had to get across. And I could see in the distance some thunder clouds, some dark clouds forming and kind of moving into the valley that I was going to be running down into. And as I was getting down into the valley, I could tell that storm was moving through. And it didn't take long before the first raindrops hit the trail. And I could see lightning pretty close in my vicinity. So I put my trekking poles away, put them in my hydration pack, and I picked up the pace. I got across the river and I ran through a flooded trail. It's like a stream coming down the trail. I ran through that. I got to this butte and charged up the butte. And as I came to the top of the butte, I could see my crew, and they had like binoculars, and they were looking out down into the valley looking for me. And I just popped up, and I got to that aid station number 2, and I was just full of adrenaline and excited.
Are you okay? Oh God,
Oh, that's awesome. Good job, dude. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. That is awesome. Good job, dude.
Way, and it started hailing really bad. Giant chunks of hail. Dove into a bush, and yeah, made it back. So kind of got calmed down. I did a change of clothes, and we headed off into my first section with pacers, or with Ryan as my pacer. And we did a great, we went through and we had a great run. We passed some people and continued on into the night. When I got to that next checkpoint, it was the 58-mile point. So I was going to have Shane pace me that next section, and Shane knew it and I knew it, that as soon as we took those first steps out of that checkpoint, it was going to be a PR. It was going to be a personal record for me, the farthest I had ever ran, and it was a good feeling getting that PR, but it didn't last very long.
How's it going?
Pretty tired. It's pretty tired.
Did you turn the switch on?
We're 67, almost 68 miles. Midnight.
How's the train?
I think we got a 4-mile stretch, and then a 5-mile or something like that. So a couple of shorter ones.
But we gotta rest here for a little bit.
And then we'll be running with my brother Ryan. He's pacing. Shane Wallstrom paced me in the last one. Pretty fun. Running through the night has a lot of challenges. For one, I'd been up for a long time, 17, 18, 19 hours, and at that point you start to get a little fatigued. And the first couple sections during the nighttime run was okay, made some really good ground, ran pretty decently, but the last section that we ran, it was a 4.7. Actually it was a 5.7. We thought it was 4.7, and I just got to the point where my mind and my body were not working together. There was a lot of, wobbly steps, almost falling off the trail, running off the trail. We got to a point where we weren't 100% sure if we were on course anymore, and there was a lot of frustration. And I started seeing, started hallucinating a little bit. The blades of grass were kind of shooting up into the sky like bottle rockets, just kind of creating this weird sensation of imbalance and a little bit of fear. And I just knew that at that next stop we were going to have to do something different. So at the next checkpoint, we made the decision to sleep for 1 hour. And sleeping for 1 hour, it saved my mind. I woke up and I was clear-headed. The sun was coming up. The downfall of that, though, is if you lay down for so long after you've been running for 70 some odd miles, you start to stiffen up really bad. And I was very, very stiff. I had a really hard time getting them. I mean, waking up for work in the morning is difficult, right? But waking up after running 70 miles and trying to walk around is absolute torture.
came off up here. I think we just take off to the left up here. See you soon.
But once we got going, things kind of loosened up, and we made some good time in those next sections, and we were making our way. And that morning, Ryan paced me in like an 11 mile stretch, and we made good time, but it was brutal. It was tough. It was hot, and I was struggling big time.
Can I put the other one on, or is that too much? Okay.
The section after that was the second to last section, and it seemed like it should have been so easy. It was just nice rolling hills, flat. The trail was in good condition. I should have been able to run it, but for the majority of it, I walked and I hiked and I was in pain. And we got to like the last 2 miles of that section. I think it was like an 8.5 mile section, and I decided I was going to start running, and I could just feel, every part of my body was in pain, my feet mostly, but I could feel on my right foot that something bad was happening. I could feel, every step was kind of like a nail going through the bottom of my foot, and I could feel my toenails kind of I could feel them tearing off and getting smashed into the front of my shoe. And man, by the time we got to the last checkpoint, I could see the crew, I could see, people cheering and stuff. And
there you go, man. You bet.
I just knew
Go get 'em.
I had nothing left to give. I ran 100 miles, but I still wasn't done. And the emotions just kind of took over. So when me and Ryan took off on that last section, it was a really good feeling. It's one of the reasons why I was so emotional, was I had these thoughts running through my head, and in my mind I was thinking, I have one final stretch. I have one opportunity to give thanks to everyone who supported me. One agonizing reminder that if you do the work and you don't give up, it will pay off. One more fraction of a percent of my time and my life to do something great. One more way to find peace in the pain. One more chance to inspire the voice of my past, present, and future.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is his second attempt at the Maah Daah Hey 100.
Let's go, Reo!
And it looks like it's going to be a finish today. Give it up for Reo Boston!
108 miles, 33 hours, 45 minutes, and 3 seconds together.
Recording? Okay. Hi, my name is Elliot, and And my dad is about to run 100 miles.
How long do you think it'll take him?
About 20 to 30 hours.
Do you think that you'd ever be able to run 100 miles?
Well, probably. Because I'm just following in my dad's footsteps.
To do what?
Well, to run.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
You sure?
Yeah, we're sure. I'm sure.
You're good? You don't want to add anything else?
Well, one thing. My dad is pretty fast. So after this, he might want to go to 200 miles or 400 miles or on a different course or break his speed. So if he's just practicing still. So we're not sure about this, but there's a big chance.